and welcome back to the Insurance Guru. My name is Ayanda Malele and I'm so excited to have you on today's installment because today I finally have other insurance gurus that come on and talk this wonderful, intricate subject that you might possibly not like, but I want you to end up loving it at the end of the day. So the guest I have today deals mostly with commercial lines insurance, which deals with your business. So whether it be fire damage, property damage, business interruption, etc., that is what falls under commercial lines insurance. And that video we will have in a future date where we explain the different covers that business insurance covers or commercial lines insurance covers. Today's guest deals with a nice, I think for me it's particularly great because they saw a lot of claims in 2020 and 2021, and they did a lot with business interruption. And for her, she's a loss adjuster at Sedgwick. She is a wonderful, intelligent, very knowledgeable person who knows literally everything in insurance. I mean, she is recently featured a lot on The Insurance Apprentice, and we may see her maybe raising up or not, we don't know. She doesn't want to share a lot of details about that, but I would like to introduce you to the one and only Masechaba. Welcome.
Thank you, Ayanda.
Welcome. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Very, very good. Thank you. Thank you so much also for making time to just come here and discuss this wonderful, interesting topic, right?
Always a pleasure.
Why do you like insurance so much? Because no one likes it, apparently.
Listen, as always, and as with everyone, by accident, fell into it, and then fell in love.
And here we are. And so today I wanted to tackle this insurance cover because we know that you can cover your whole business. There's different types of risks, but you deal with this very intricate one which no one seems to understand, business interruption. What is business interruption cover?
So in a nutshell, business interruption cover is cover for profit. So should anything happen to your business that prevents you from trading or prevents or kind of hinders your trading in any way, then you can cover the profits that would be lost as a result of that insured event.
Okay. So for me, as Masechaba, I don't like complicating things. I want to know the simple details so that everybody else at home can also understand if it's really important. I have got a nail bar. So let's say I've got Ayanda's Nails Technician Bar and I'm based maybe in my garage at home or I'm based in an office and now I'm taking up all these different covers for my business. Why do I need business interruption in that case? It's a small business. I mean, I'm not making millions, yeah? So why would I need it?
Okay, here's an example. Should you be trading out of your garage and your house burns down, then your main business premise is gone. You would probably have insurance for your house, so in the process of rebuilding, your business is not trading. No income is coming in and therefore none of the expenses of the business can be covered. In some cases, you would then lose your staff who are trained nail technicians. And when you start up again, once your business is rebuilt, maybe it's 12 months later, you have to retrain people. What business interruption does is it bridges that gap. In that time where your business is not trading, business interruption insurance will make sure that you continue to be able to afford all your expenses, and if your business as a bottom line is making some type of net profit, that profit continues to come in.
All right, so to help me understand it with the nail bar, for me now, let's say I've got 2 technicians that I work with that work for me. You're saying that this cover is then ideally going to cover their salaries? Will it cover my electricity bill, my MTN bill for the Wi-Fi? What exactly are we covering? What are you promising me here?
So absolutely your salaries. Should you continue to pay your staff, the business interruption policy will cover it.
Okay.
Things like electricity that are very variable and dependent on whether your business is trading or not will fall away as an expense. So these are not things that you would gain money from. However, your subscriptions like your Wi-Fi and everything that continues to be an obligation, whether or not the business is trading, those are the things that we're looking to cover with business interruption insurance.
Oh, that's actually not that bad. So, because I think for me, I thought in terms of a small business, I thought it's negligible, right? But because you said something very important where you said I might lose those 2 technicians. So having to start from scratch and like recruiting new people, they might be charging me now a higher rate because they went somewhere else and got a better offer. So you're saying, okay, to keep your staff and to at least have some sanity for these next 6 months or 12 months, this cover will provide me with that. And I still get to make some of the profits or get my profits that I would have made in the business?
Yes, so depending on the type of business interruption cover you take, in most cases your net profit will be covered. So as always, the principle of indemnity, we want to put you in the same place you would have been if your business was operating. And if you were making a profit, then the insurance cover will continue to support that profit that you were making.
It's actually not a very bad cover, you know. So I'm enjoying this conversation with Masechaba because I think, you know, as much as I work in insurance as well, we walk in our little businesses, we don't take them serious, you know. I mean, so when I initially had a chat with her and we were just going through some of the questions I'll pose to her, I said, I mean, if I'm a baker, I'm doing scones and cookies and stuff. I mean, why must I get a whole insurance policy for cookies and stuff? So, you know, like now I think I'm understanding it with your example to say, no, listen, you are going to be losing. There is some profit you're making, so you need to keep that profit. There is some expenses that you would have incurred that are still going to go. I need to keep those expenses and I need to pay for them. And then over and above that, it's to actually ideally save my business at the end of the day.
And as we know, 70% of businesses that experience loss actually fail after insurance policy, the insured event happens. So the business interruption cover is that when mitigates that gap with that 70% of the people. And with your bakery, I mean, imagine that you've bought all this equipment and you've bought it on credit. The creditors will continue to want their money.
So that's where my business interruption policy will also come.
That's where your net profit is mostly used to pay the expenses of the business. That's where your cover comes in.
I think, okay, this is actually exciting. I think if you're a business owner and you've never thought it was important, I mean, no one ever thinks insurance is important, except for me, but no one ever thinks insurance is important. And then you listen to people like Masechaba here and you think to yourself, possibly there is a need. And I think right now, having seen what happened in 2020 just alone, where big corporations were closing down. I mean, Greyhound, I don't know, remember Greyhound at some point, they cut their losses and they said they couldn't anymore. And during those times, a BI cover would have sufficed and would have helped them for a bit, right?
Yes, so the COVID cover is a non-damage extension.
Oh,
so usually BI will happen, it will follow an actual damage event, but there are several extensions to cover that will cover you in the case where your business is not damaged, but there is some damage in the vicinity, or something that is explained or can be construed as damage that happens to then your business, then you can take out the cover, and COVID cover was one of those. Unfortunately, because of just the large scale of damage that was caused by COVID, it's a cover that's not offered anymore on insurance policies.
Oh, is it?
Yes, it's become an automatic exclusion on all BI policies worldwide. But for those people who did have the cover, they enjoyed the benefits of having that cover. I mean, some people were insured for 24 months and we've just now in March come off. So the losses that they experienced in the last 24 months were covered and it's helped them a great deal.
That's wonderful. Unfortunately, not for an insurer. The reinsurer is not so great, right?
No, not for the market. It was an absolute disaster. But I mean, for the people who had the foresight to take out the cover, it was an absolute bonus for. Yeah.
Okay, so now we are talking about exclusions, and thank you for coming to this because you're now saying COVID is actually we don't want to deal with it anymore. I actually saw this coming. I thought to myself, how many months can you go on for paying these claims where you don't know?
And especially, it's just come out of the woodworks now that we are going to experience more pandemics. It's going to be less of a 100-year event and it's going to happen more frequently. So the risk has become far too high for the insurer to handle.
And sorry, I just wanted to just quickly, say and speak on behalf of the poor insurers. These guys want to pay out your claims, but it has to be quantifiable and we have to see the long age. We have to say, okay, we're covering you for 24 months for this and this damage. If we cover everything, and I'm saying we because I'm the insurance guru, but if insurance covers everything, you're going to find that they're not going to be with money to pay for your claim in the first place. So these kind of things to exclude certain covers, they see that there's a big risk here and they could potentially tank. And yes, we'd all like to see your insurance go down because you gave them your premium, but you actually don't want them to go down because who's going to pay for the other claims, for the other things that we could have foreseen or unforesaw, but can see that they might potentially happen. So I think here we must also not look at it in a bad way to say, oh, now they're going to exclude it because it bothered them. They're trying to also make sure they cover you for lightning damage, for storm, for fire, all the other risks that could potentially happen. But this one, the magnitude is just ridiculous. It's crazy. And I have a video that I did where it talked about insurable risks and non-insurable risk. And I mean, when you look at this as a catastrophe, something like COVID is a catastrophe. It affects too many people. You don't know when it's going to end. And that video I will link somewhere, maybe here, to say just go and check it out and understand actually why they would exclude something like COVID. So COVID is an exclusion. What else is an exclusion?
So I think the crux of the matter is that BI follows material damage. So it doesn't, in most cases, BI does not happen alone. There are very few cases where a BI would respond on its own without being triggered by an actual physical damage event. So things like loss following a theft are not usually covered by the BI policy. But your fire, your storm, your lightning, and your contents damage caused by fire, lightning, storm, and all the fire perils would be covered by the BI policy. So what we must always remember is that BI follows damage.
Okay. So just because my children were sick for the past week and I couldn't do my nails and my clients had to be cancelled, you're saying that's not that?
That's not covered. However, there are policies that will have cover for you when you get sick as a principal member of a business. So it's an extension. It's optional. It's something that you choose to pay for based on the likelihood of it happening in your business.
So basically, sudden and unforeseen. Everything else, you could have gone to the doctor, you could have not stayed out in the cold, and you wouldn't have fallen sick. So that's not sudden and unforeseen, but something sudden and unforeseen is literally, I did not expect this fire to happen, I did not expect this theft to happen.
Yes.
Another quick question I wanted to ask from there was once where there was a sinkhole and they had to close the whole road, and that road led to a very famous, popular drinking spot, party spot here in Centurion, and literally there was no way to access the building. And it wasn't a sudden and unforeseen thing because, you know, the municipality, well, I guess the sinkhole was, but the municipality had to come and they took their sweet time. Those people lost a lot of clients because it was difficult to gain entry. They closed, and a little bit later, they sort of opened a passageway and so forth. Now that business, would business interruption cover come in there?
Absolutely. So there's an optional extension called prevention of access. This extension requires that there be damage within a radius of your business. So let's say a 10-kilometer radius, which is quite a wide net to cast. So that road that is leading to your business has prevented access to your business. And therefore, there is cover for your losses as a result of that damage to that road. And say you then have to build an alternate road. Provided that it's economical for insurance to pay it, then we'll pay for the expense of opening the road, because what that has done is it has decreased your losses.
Okay. It's all about decreasing losses for the insurer, but for yourself ultimately.
Yes, excellent.
All right, brilliant. So I think actually this cover, there's obviously a lot of information on this cover. We can talk about it the whole day, I'm sure you can.
Absolutely.
So for now, I think she's given us the long and short of it. The one quick thing I also want to ask, what are the biggest mistakes that people do when they take out BI cover? Come claim stage, oh, this was not covered, or they did not. What are the things to look out for when you're signing up for a business interruption cover?
So I think the biggest thing for us is always average. I see it, 90% of BI claims that I have done is under insurance. And the reason for this is the correlation between the indemnity period and the annual turnover. So usually when you tell an insured that you're going to cover them for 3 months, then they're going to declare their income for 3 months as the sum insured. This should never be the case. Your sum insured should be based on 12 months for an indemnity period of up to 12 months.
Okay.
And you should also consider things like, is your business growing? At what rate is it growing? Inflation. So we kind of want to predict how our business is going to perform in the next 12 months at renewal stage. So when you renew, how much did you make in the previous year? What do you expect to happen to your business in the next 12 months? And that's the figure that you should
take the average to then.
Yes.
Yes.
Another thing that I've seen very commonly is that misunderstanding of what is covered. The most common cover is gross profit cover. However, insurance gross profits and accounting gross profit are a little bit different. And it's always a bone of contention because people don't understand what they're covered for. And I think that's an education problem. It's something that we have not, as an insurance market, we have not given that knowledge to the consumer.
watch the insurance guru, and we will, give you all those tidbits on that information. But I think you've actually just locked it and said what I wanted to hear.
Yes.
Because I do understand from what you're saying, if I'm a wedding venue, I know that between September and January or February, that's my peak times.
Yes.
The rest of the time it's a bit quiet. So if I go and I put my turnover for March up until June, obviously it's going to be much lower, but in average to everything else I make in the year, the figure is much different.
Yes, exactly.
No, brilliant. No, but thank you so much, Masechaba. I think, do you have any other tidbits for us, or are you happy with what you told us today? Because she will definitely be back.
I'm very happy with what I've shared today, but the one thing I can say is if you can afford it, get business interruption cover for your business and keep good record of the transactions in your business. So your income, your expenses, it's one of the biggest challenges when we adjust these claims, a business with no records. So we're not expecting you to be a VAT registered private company, but even in your sole proprietorship, just to ensure that you keep good record of all the transactions that go through your business on a monthly basis, because it makes it that much quicker at claim stage if we don't have to wait for you to then retrospectively create documents for 2 years.
Okay, I hear you. So you said that the cover will cover you following another risk, another attached risk to the policy, whether it's property damage, whether it's fire. So I want to know the underwriting considerations in terms of calculating my premium. Does the business interruption policy have the same premium for everybody, or what do you guys look for that mine might be a bit higher than yours, even though we maybe are doing the same revenue and we've got the same profit that we are insuring for?
So there are definitely some underwriting considerations. Some industries are more susceptible to losses than others. So the industry in which you operate in, the economic climate and how that economic climate could possibly affect your business, any changes really in the markets, your client base, how much you rely on a specific supplier could be a big thing, because if that is your one supplier, if that supplier goes down, your business could go down with it. And this is another optional cover that's offered by the BI policy, suppliers. And so that also increases your risk. So someone with 100 different suppliers would have a lesser risk than someone with only one direct supplier. So there are definitely a lot of considerations to take into account. And I mean, the number of employees you have. So production, how your production works. Maybe you're in the lubricant industry. The risk of fire is quite high. Fire is a peril that triggers the BI policy, and therefore in that case we are looking at a larger risk.
Okay.
Yes.
Alright, no, I think you've taught me what I need to know for now. I hope that she has also taught you a little bit of what you need to know. And if you run a business, whether it's small and you think it's insignificant, please make sure to call an insurance company and ask first to say, can I speak to the commercial lines department? Speak to them to get the covers that are needed for your company, such as fire, your property, your computer equipment, etc. But then don't stop them there and say, please include business interruption cover, and then let's look at the different options they've got for you, additional covers that you can have. But I think it's really, really necessary. We've seen what can happen and what major calamities it can have on any business when something stops, and I think during this period we all need insurance. So I'm very glad to have had you on the show today, and I hope to have you again.
Absolutely.
And discussing this topic again. But if you have just finished watching this video and you are happy with what you're seeing, please click subscribe, like this video, share it with everybody else that you know, and tell your cousins, your friends, other business owners, other people in the insurance sector to watch it. But thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
And yeah, we're definitely going to see you again.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you.